Top 8 Most Dangerous Ants of All Time. Ants are often portrayed as very sociable insects. In storybooks and fables, ants are always described as responsible, reliable, and industrious. It is probably the only insect we teach our children to imitate. Ants truly are very responsible creatures. They do as they are told to keep the colony alive at all costs. They put an effort to keep the nest strong. Ants do everything they can to provide for their queen and its offspring. And they put their best foot forward to look for food and other potential shelters. Number 8. Jackjumper ant. This ant species looks like a small scorpion and as lethal as one. Reports showed that there are at least 4 people who were killed due to its bite in 1980. However, further researches and investigations conclude that it was not only the bite that caused the deaths. It could be due to shock, heart attack, and severe inflammation and irritation. Scientists have discovered that the bite from the jackjumper ant can weaken the immune system. Therefore, a person is prone to having more than one illness that could lead to death. What do you do if you get bit by a jackjumper? Jackjumper ants grab with pincers and sting from the tail. If someone is stung and is reacting badly, the best treatment is to lay a person down and elevate the legs if possible before calling for help. What that does, it maximizes the amount of blood going back to the heart so the heart can keep pumping. Are jumping jack ants poisonous? Image result for what to do when jackjumper ants bite you. Their sting generally only causes a mild local reaction in humans. However, it is one of the few ant species that can be dangerous to humans, along with other ants in the genus Myrmecia. Between 1980 and 2000, 4 deaths were due to anaphylaxis from jackjumper stings, all of them in Tasmania. Jackjumper ants are found in Tasmania, Victoria, Australian Capital Territory, New South Wales, Snowy Mountains, Blue Mountains, and coastal regions, South Australia, Adelaide Hills, and in some parts of Western Australia and Queensland. How do you kill jackjumper ants? I use a pyrethrum-based ant killer dust these days. Just sprinkle a little around the entrance to the nest, especially in the afternoon, when they're returning for the night, and will take it in with them. Works well for both jackjumpers and European wasps. Occasionally a second dose is needed. Australia, including Tasmania. They also occur in open habitats, including pastures, gardens, and lawns that have not been much cultivated, and are near light bush, such as around new housing. They prefer fine gravel and sandy soil. They like to forage for food near eucalypts, wattles, and the native understory bushes associated with those trees. They collect small insects, honeydew from sap-sucking bugs, and nectar to take back to their nest where it is fed. To ant grubs. Jackjumpers, also known as jumper ants. Hopper ants, jumping jacks, are medium-sized ants, 8 to 10 millimeters long with a black body but pale jaws and legs. They can jump 10 centimeters repeatedly when defending themselves. They are related to the larger, less aggressive, and less active Inchman ants, which are 3 centimeters long. Jackjumper nests contain hundreds or thousands of ants, but this is considerably less than many smaller pest ants. In the nest, the queen, who lays all the eggs, can survive a decade. The worker ants can live a couple of years. The entrance to the nest is often surrounded by a pile of sand and pebbles 6 centimeters in diameter with a central hole 1 centimeter diameter. Venom from their tail end. This causes mild reactions in most people. The sting is usually quite painful and local swelling is common. However, about 3% of Tasmanians develop a severe allergy, which is twice the rate for allergy to bee stings. A systemic allergic reaction to a jackjumper sting can make you unwell and can sometimes be severe. Anaphylaxis, which is potentially life-threatening. There were 4 recorded deaths from jackjumper stings in Tasmania between 1980 and 2000. Number 7. Green tree ant. This is common in Australia and tropical Asia. Also known as a weaver, this species is called the green tree ant because you can find the nests on trees and leaves. They can stitch their nests together and form a colony. One could contain at least 500,000 of green tree ants. Although they do not have any stingers, they are known to be aggressive biters, especially when provoked. Their bite causes a piercing sensation on the skin. However, just like the bullhorn ant, it has its own medicinal advantages as well. Scientists cultivate these ants for treating stomach aches and fertility problems. Green tree ant workers are aggressive and defend their nests by swarming onto the attacker. They cannot sting but bite with their jaws and squirt a burning fluid from the tip of the abdomen onto the wound. How do I control green tree ants? Image result for how dangerous is the green tree ant. Control treatments. Green head ants are most effectively controlled using granular baits, such as Pest Expert nest kill bait. The bait is taken back to the nest where it is shared with other colony members. As it is important that all the queens are eliminated, this is a very effective ant control treatment. Are green ants a pest? Image result. The green weaver ant, Ecophyllus smaragdina, is a pest that every North Queenslander would know about. The green ant is roughly 5 mm, 10 mm in size, and they are easy to spot from their yellow abdomen with their distinct green thorax. They also build noticeable nests in the branches and leaves of many trees. Green tree ants occur across northern Australia from the Kimberley region in Western Australia to about Gladstone in Queensland. They are found in all forest types but do not occur in the highlands. Can you eat green tree ant? The green ants are edible with a lemon flavoring which creates a uniquely foodie experience. Taste profile: the abdomen of green ants can be eaten. The taste is impressive for such a small item. Green tree ants, Ecophyllus smaragdina, will be familiar to anyone who resides in, or has traveled into the northern parts of Australia. They are one of the most visible and dominant species of ants in many areas of the north. As long as there are suitable trees to nest within, they are also quite at home in disturbed areas and have taken much of our environmental modification in their stride. They are relatively aggressive and do not hesitate to swarm over a perceived threat to their nests, biting fiercely as they do. To add to the pain, they squirt acid from their abdomen into the bite site to ensure the intruder knows who is boss. Many an innocent tourist has been covered with these ants just by brushing a bush as they walk by, and instantly begun to perform the hopping and slapping green tree ant dance, which is a sight to see. Green tree ants construct their homes in the trees using a remarkable method of insect engineering. They create nesting chambers from leaves which are pulled together through the cooperation of many worker ants. Once they have the leaves in position, another wave of workers appear with young grub-like larvae in their jaws. The ant larvae produce silk and are used by the worker ants as tools to bind the leaves together. The workers carrying larvae move to and fro, binding the seams of the leaf nest with precision, whilst the other workers patiently hold the leaves in place. The entire construction may take several hours to complete. Although the colonies have a single queen, they may ultimately expand to have many nest sites throughout a single tree, or even adjacent trees, which the ants travel between. These super colonies can contain tens of thousands of ants, and the various nest sites will have different functions. Some may store larvae and pupae of different ages, others will simply house workers, and of course one will house the queen and will be fiercely protected. The ants tend to prefer living leaves forming their nest chambers. As the silken leaf clusters die off, the ants will scout for a new location and repeat the construction process. Nest building is not the only unique talent of these high-rise ants. They can also build bridges and ladders using their own bodies as the structure. If there is a particular branch they need to reach below them, rather than walking the long way round, they can construct a dangling chain of ants. With hundreds holding onto one another, they bridge the gap with incredible cooperation. Once they reach the branch below, other ants will use the living structure to walk across. Of course, this is not a permanent structure, but allows effective temporary access to a spot otherwise difficult to get to. These remarkable ants have also taken to an insect form of farming. They actively protect and tend to several species of caterpillars, various leaf hoppers and other sap-sucking insects. The ants are in turn rewarded with sugary secretions produced by the farmed insects known as honeydew. This is a rich food source and a valuable commodity for the ants. Green tree ants constantly seek food for their colonies, which means traveling far and wide. If an insect is not on their protected list, it is fair game. They can overpower a wide variety of small animals, predominantly insects and spiders, then drag them back to their nests. They will also clean up the carcasses of larger vertebrate animals. On some occasions they have been observed dragging small dead birds and reptiles into the trees to be dismantled and fed to their larvae. Number 6. Bullhorn acacia ant. Bullhorn acacia ant, this creature is characterized by having wasp-like structures. But do not be fooled of its size. Its sting is as painful as that of the wasp. They inject venom into the skin that causes a burning sensation. In some cases, the venom from the bullhorn acacia ant can cause anaphylactic shock, especially when ignored and left untreated. However, the venom of this creature is not all bad. It has its own benefits to humans as well. Did you know that scientists cultivate their venom and turn it into antidepressants and asthma maintenance? What do the bullhorn acacia tree get from the acacia ants? Image result for bullhorn acacia ant. Bullhorn acacia is best known for its symbiotic relationship with Pseudomyrmex ferruginea, an ant that lives in its hollowed-out thorns. The ants live in the thorns. In return, the tree supplies the ants with Beltian bodies, or protein lipid nodules, and nectar. Where do you find acacia trees? Image result. Acacia, genus Acacia, genus of about 160 species of trees and shrubs in the pea family, Fabaceae. Acacias are native to tropical and subtropical regions of the world, particularly Australia, where they are called wattles, and to repel herbivorous animals, various acacias protect their succulent leaves with one of several methods, including vicious-looking spines, repellent, noxious chemicals, and as in the case of the bull's horn acacia by developing a mutualism with the acacia ant too. The symbiotic relationship begins when a newly mated queen is attracted by the odor from the tree and starts nesting inside the large hollow acacia thorns. The queen nibbles into the thorn to lay 15 to 20 eggs to produce the first generation of workers. As the colony grows, more of the bulbous thorns get inhabited, and when the colony reaches some 400 individuals, the ants start to act as gardeners too. As gardeners, the ants aggressively attack creatures of all sizes attracted by the acacia leaves, killing insects such as crickets and stinging the heads of mammals such as goats too. Even other plants such as epiphytic vines are repelled 5, and as little as an unfamiliar odor can cause the ants to swarm toward the potential threat. Additionally, the ants scout the ground around the tree for seedlings and destroy any competitors they find. In compensation, special glands at the base of the tree's leaves produce a nectar rich in sugar and amino acids, and the tips of the leaves sprout Beltian bodies, small nutritious packets of oils and proteins. However, not all is mutually beneficial. The ants relish the sweet honeydew produced by scale insects which suck the sap of the acacia and therefore protect them as well, effectively providing entry to diseases too. The development of myrmecophytism, and symbiosis, and spininess in African and New World acacia species was an adaptation to the presence of large faunas of effective browsing mammals. The ant's sting is very painful, causing a lasting burning and throbbing effect. The ants provide vital protection to the bull's horn acacias day and night, and it has been shown that without the ants, Acacia cornigera suffer greater damage from attacking insects and tend to be overgrown by competing plant species. Number 5. Florida harvester ant. Florida harvester ant, this species is normally found in Central, South, and North America. These ants are one of the deadliest insects reported to mankind. The Florida harvester ant carries a type of venom as deadly as that of the cobras. This type of venom can kill small insects, and it could be very lethal to human beings as well. These creatures often appear as docile and harmless ants. They are usually seen carrying food and small seeds for their colony. As laypersons, it would be lethal for us to think that this is as peaceful as the common ant. Once provoked, we could die trying to befriend one of the most lethal enemies of man, the harvester ant. According to University of Florida's Book of Insect Records, these ants, specifically the Maricopa harvester ant species, have the most toxic venom based on mice LD50 values. The LD50 for harvester ant venom in rodents is 0.12 mg per kilogram, compared to an LD50 of 2.8 mg per kilogram for a honeybee sting. How venomous is a harvester ant? Image result for how deadly is Florida harvester ant. The toxicity of the venom of the Maricopa harvester ant is well known. Its LD50 value is 0.12 mg per kilogram, injected intravenously in mice. 12 stings can kill a 2 kg rat. In humans, a Paganomermex sting produces intense pain that can last up to 4 hours. According to experts, harvester ants will readily attack humans and smaller animals. Anaphylactic reactions have been reported from harvester ant stings. If you suspect a harvester ant infestation, it is recommended to contact a licensed ant exterminator. What happens if a harvester ant bites you? Signs of an allergic reaction may include sneezing, wheezing, hives, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, sudden anxiety, dizziness, difficulty breathing, chest tightness and itching or swelling of the eyes, lips, or other areas of the face, rapid loss of blood pressure, fainting and coma. How do you treat a harvester ant bite? Treatment includes cool compresses, antipruritic lotions, oral antihistamines and scrupulous cleansing of the area to prevent secondary bacterial infection. Harvester ants are found in the southern portion of the U.S. They are large, up to 1 centimeter long, red-brown, and sometimes winged ants. Identifying harvester ants bite. Harvester ant stings can cause painful sores and possible allergic reactions in people and animals. Some species wield stingers with reverse barbs that actually break off in the sting site, like honeybee stingers. Unlike honeybees, harvester ants are capable of stinging multiple times. Similar to fire ants, the harvester ant's two-part bite and sting process begins with the harvester ant attaching to its victim with its mandibles, then proceeding to repeatedly sting and inject venom into the region by pivoting around the site. The red harvester ant native to the arid southwest is particularly poisonous. These are often confused with fire ants, but the red harvester ant is not related to the fire ant and, in fact, their sting is more venomous. When do harvester ants bite? In addition to causing mayhem to the physical appearance of yards and commercial properties, harvester ants attack when their nests are disturbed. Although harvester ants don't invade structures, their nests, often located near homes or in yards, places them in the category of urban pests. Though not aggressive by nature, with the exception of the red harvester ant, the harvester ant can deliver an especially painful sting, if provoked. Risks of harvester ant bites. Like many venomous insects, the venom of the Maricopa harvester ant consists of amino acids, peptides, proteins, and most notably, an alkaloid poison that sends out a pheromone alarm, chemically alerting other ants in the area. This chemical signaling explains why ants all appear to sting as a unified force. The venom can also contain allergenic proteins that can set off a potentially lethal immune response in certain victims. Truly Nolan recommends seeking professional medical treatment for children, the elderly and those with certain allergies. In otherwise healthy adults, pain from stings can last up to 4 hours, with residual swelling and pain afterward. Number 4. Bullet ant. Bullet ant, This is recorded by scientists as the ant with the most painful bite. From the name itself, the bite from the bullet ant is as painful as being shot by a gun. This is typically found in South America and is known as the 24-hour ant. According to experts, you can feel the pain of the bite for more or less 24 hours before it gradually oozes out. I can only imagine how dreadful the situation could be if I get bitten by this ant. Personally, I would rather faint than endure the 24 hours of pain. How painful is bullet ant? Image result for bullet ant. Bullet ant. Schmidt describes the pain as pure, intense, brilliant pain. Like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel, and rates it as a 4.0 plus, off the charts pain that lasts up to 24 hours. These ants are the largest of the ant family, at about 1 inch in length. Are bullet ants in America? Image result. Currently, the bullet ant is confined to Central America and South America, but it's not too hard to imagine them somehow making their way up north to the US. And if they do, well, let's just say that it won't be very nice. The bullet ant is generally considered one of the most painful insects in the whole world. Location: bullet ants are located in the rainforest spanning from Nicaragua to Paraguay. One of the more frightening things about bullet ants is that they nest in trees, shrubs, and in the ground. Fast facts: bullet ants. Common name: bullet ant. Also known as 24-hour ant, conga ant, lesser giant hunting ant. Scientific name: Paraponera clavata. Distinguishing features: reddish-black ants with large pincers and a visible stinger. Size: 18 to 30 mm, up to 1.2 in. Diet: nectar and small arthropods. Average lifespan: up to 90 days, worker. Habitat: tropical forests of Central and South America. Conservation status: least concern. Kingdom: Animalia. Phylum: Arthropoda. Class: Insecta. Order: Hymenoptera. Family: Formicidae. Fascinating fact: the bullet ant's sting is known for being the most painful sting of any insect. The pain, which has been compared to being shot with a bullet, naturally dissipates after 24 hours. Bullet ants live in the tropical rainforest of Central and South America, in Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and Brazil. The ants build their colonies at the base of trees so they can forage in the canopy. Each colony contains several hundred ants. Bullet ants live in the tropical rainforest of Central and South America, in Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and Brazil. The ants build their colonies at the base of trees so they can forage in the canopy. Each colony contains several hundred ants. Number 3. Fire ant. Fire ant: just like most insects, fire ants become aggressive when they are provoked. One unique feature of this ant is they can secrete a pheromone that makes more ants attack the predator. The fire ant has a very painful sting. It will cause swelling, redness, and pus. There are cases where people develop allergic reactions from the fire ant bite, therefore causing anaphylactic shock. If you are bitten by this kind of ant, better consult your doctor immediately. Fire ant, genus Solenopsis, also called thief ant, any of a genus of insects in the family Formicidae, order Hymenoptera, that occur in tropical regions of the world, such as Central and South America, and in some temperate regions, such as North America. The best known member of the genus, the red imported fire ant, Solenopsis civissima, also known as S. invicta, was accidentally introduced into the United States from South America. The red or yellowish ants are 1 to 5 millimeters in length and can inflict a severe sting. The semi-permanent nest consists of a loose mound with open craters for ventilation. The workers are notorious for damaging planted grain and attacking poultry. Fire ants communicate through chemical secretions and stridulation, sounds produced by rubbing or drumming one body part against another. While adult workers are known for their aggressive behavior when under the threat of attack from neighboring ant colonies, young fire ants, whose stingers and external skeletons are not yet fully developed, play dead. Where are fire ants found? In the United States, imported fire ants currently inhabit all or parts of Alabama, Arkansas, California, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Mexico, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Puerto Rico, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. They are discovered sporadically in Kentucky, Missouri, and Maryland. How deep are fire ant colonies? Tunnels in fire ant nests have been found to a depth of 10 feet or more, but most tunnels are shallower, starting just beneath the soil surface. Colonies in clay soils have deeper tunnels than those in sandy soils. How do you get rid of fire ants forever? Image result. How to destroy and get rid of fire ant colonies forever. Look out for all their mounds. Use hot water to drown them all. Garlic or cayenne pepper with hot water. Poison the colony. Make use of boric acid. Hire an insect extermination service. Number 2. Sciapo ant. Sciapo ant, also known as the army ant, this creature is common in eastern and central Africa. This is one of the insects that can literally destroy everything in their path. Unlike most ant species, the Sciapo ants do not build their nests. They are considered as nomads, they live from one place to the other depending on the abundance of the food source. Once they have eradicated all potential food sources, they move on to the next place, devouring anything in their path. They have their strength in numbers. So, they can attack and swarm an animal that is 1,000 times more than their size. Their painful and sharp stings and bites will leave an animal helpless. Unable to fight on his own, he starts to lose his strength and give in to the swarm. Can Sciapo ants eat humans? Some, like the bullet ant, are not so toxic but much more painful. The only ant that could potentially devour you is Sciapo, the African driver ant. They are not as bad as they are in the movies Indiana Jones 4, but are known or at least rumored to have killed infants. Can army ants eat humans? It is common for these army ants to reduce a tethered cow to polished bone in several weeks. A few cases of human deaths, inebriated or infant, have been reported. They form a giant group made up of millions of soldier ants. They, then, march killing and devouring anything in their path. Number 1. The bulldog ant. The bulldog ant, this is recorded by scientists as the most dangerous ant in the whole world. Commonly found in Australia, this ant is the most aggressive species of all. The bulldog ant can use its stinger and its jaw aggressively at the same time. Plus, it injects venom that can kill a fully grown man within 15 minutes. The most dangerous ant in the world is the bulldog ant, Myrmecia pyriformis, found in coastal regions in Australia. In attack it uses its sting and jaws simultaneously. On a few occasions the sting has been enough to kill adults within 15 minutes. The most dangerous ant in the world is the bulldog ant, Myrmecia pyriformis, found in coastal regions in Australia. In attack it uses its sting and jaws simultaneously. There have been at least 3 human fatalities since 1936, the latest a Victorian farmer in 1988. There are more than 12,500 ant species recorded as of this moment. The facts above show that these creatures, no matter how tiny they are, must not be underestimated. If you do not want to face an untimely death, it is best to get acquainted about the ant species you must avoid. Also, to keep your family safe from any potential threat, it is best to take the necessary precautions to prevent them from entering your home. Please remember to subscribe to True Story.